Okay. So we've moved. We're now in the mainland, if you like, and here we are. And we're so thankful that Rohan can join us tonight, and Lenona is going to just have a conversation with him. And at some point, it'll become obvious when it's time to ask a question or two, because it's not an opportunity many of us have very often. So yeah, we'll go from there. And excuse me, I'll be mucking around with the sound because this isn't what we normally do, and unfortunately the equipment probably hasn't been used for a while and it's not working exactly how it should, so we'll see how we go.
Just before we start, I'd like to give a special welcome to Krista and to Phil McGaw. Krista was the person who started up the Circle of Friends back in 2000, so 24th anniversary this year. And Krista was the first coordinator, I suppose. Yeah. And it was back then that we first started finding out about the Sri Lankan refugees who were up in Baxter. And following on from Krista, Barb Brown and Barb and Warren are here tonight too. And Barb was the next coordinator, and it's really wonderful to have you coming up and being part of Rohan's support team. Now, I would like to introduce to you Rohan, who I first met, I think was probably the first time. I only went up to Baxter Detention Centre a couple of times. And so how long were you in Baxter, Rohan?
I was in almost 3 years in Baxter.
Over 3 years.
We
yeah.
came to Australia 2001.
Okay. Actually, we'll backtrack a little bit, but I was just trying to get a bit of an idea. First of all, Rohan, I'd like to ask you the reason why you ended up in feeling you needed to leave Sri Lanka, because that is a reason. You know, we find it hard in Australia to understand how we have to flee to another country. So it would be really helpful if you could give us a little bit of a picture of the pressures and reasons why you felt unsafe.
Okay. In Sri Lanka, it's almost everyone is involved with the political party. One of the political party. It's like every Sunday we go to church. It's like that. So every person is involved with any political party. So I involved with I did a lot of social work. I was president of the 171 families, one of the community, and also I work with one of the political party, which is a United National Party. It's a liberal party, actually. So during the election days, a lot of activities going on in Sri Lanka, not like very different to here. In Sri Lanka, during the election days, they have pasting posters on the walls, and the meeting is not like this. We need to put a stage on it, and a lot of lights, a musical band, a lot of organizing things. So we have worked with our party, but we did everything in the peaceful. But most of the opposition party, they are the local organizers. They are a little bit doing not correct way. So always we got to trouble. Always other parties, the party organizers, they got a trouble from them. They always want to show their power. So one day we pasting. I tell you, there's a lot of things happen, but I say the couple of things. The one day I went, me and another two friends, we pasting posters, and then their supporters come, and then why you doing that? What you doing? And as we said, we doing poster. And you can't do that. And then they said, oh, we said very peacefully, calmly, we said we not cover your posters. We just do only pasting our posters only. And then they kick the paste bucket, and then they tear the posters, and they beat to my other friends, 2 friends, and then someone came and they beat me. Other 2 people, they ran away and they beat me, and then I got broke my shoulder. So 3 people altogether. I tried to I fight with them, but it's 3 people, and then so I got broke my arm. Something like that. There's so many things happen, and then on that time, so we know it's going to be critical in next few months. So what we have to do, so I was thinking, what should I do? And I thought, they already threatened me for life threatening, already came before and after that. So then I had to decide whether I stay home or I go somewhere else. So Sri Lanka is a smaller country, so they can find me anyway. One day I went to I'm living in Western Provincial. I went to South Provincial for the 2 weeks, but the motorbike came. They went to my auntie's house, walk around, and then they asking where's Rohan, it's in Sri Lanka called it's a Nilanta, where's a Nilanta, things like that. And then I thought it's not good, so then I had to decide where I better go away from Sri Lanka. So I was thinking to going to somewhere. Then I realized the one of the when I called few people, and then few people called me, so Han, what you going to do now? So things like that. So when I hear from the few people about the news, so about my situation, and then when I rang the another person, and then I said I wanna go to other country. When I call other people, and I told them, and then one of the person told me, you better call, there's another person name, and you call him. And then I call him, and I said, I think I have to, my situation, I go I need to go to overseas. And what he said there's one boat already left. They're going to Australia. I said, can't get in, and he said no, it's already gone. And then he said, sorry, I forgot, or something. I can't understand. Can't remember. Then later on, he rang me again, and then he went to my mother's house, and he told he want to contact me, and then I went to see him again, and then he said they both left from Negombo. I was in Negombo. So for some reason, the boat is still in the South Provincial. There's another harbor. If you go now, I don't know how you're going. If you go to that harbor, you can get it. Can you get it? I said, so how can I get it? And then it's okay, you pay me that much. I promised him 350,000 rupees. And I said, I don't have that much money in my hand. I got only 30,000 rupees. Okay, so you pay to you go and pay to that person and tell them my friend's name Tyrone. Tell them this. So Tyrone sent me. Tyrone sent me. Then I told him the smuggler, people smuggler, and I told him I came from Tyrone. So Tyrone said I can get into the boat. Please help me. I got a bad situation like this, and then I had to tell his story. And he said, okay, I need to have at least 50,000 rupees. I said I don't have that much, but I can. If you sign the paper or anything, and I'm happy to go. And when I go there, and he said, okay, give me 30,000. Okay, you need to, as soon as possible, you need to go to the that harbor. If you didn't get it, so you will not get it. I will not pay back money. But the rest of the money you need to pay when you get here as soon as possible. I told him yes, I promise. So then I was rushed to the first bus. The first bus I I went to the South Provincial. And that harbor, and then the harbor, I'm scared to ask for anybody. 1 hour, I walk everywhere. There's so many boats. I think it's 60 or 70 boats on the harbor. I can't find it. So then I work almost 1 hour. I get nervous, and one side of it, I don't know it's already left or not. And then on the corner, on the behind lot of maybe one boat line here, the third line, I saw the one of person is look like the Nigambo person, and then I asked him, and then when I asking is that the boat come from Nigambo, then that person, he was 18 years, I think that time he was 17 years old. He recognized me because when I was in Sri Lanka, I was a mechanic, boat engine, not a boat, outboard engine. It's the big boat, half a ship. I was a boat mechanic. He recognized me. Oh, you are the one mechanic. I saw you fix my dad's boat. Oh yeah, I didn't know. I didn't remember. I can't remember. Then I asked him, "This is that the boat go to the Australia?" Yes, yes. He said yes, and I said I paid money, so I came to get into the boat. And then he took me to the skipper. It's called skipper. It's like a captain. Yeah, he introduced me to the captain, and then captain asking details. So who sent you? And I said my friend is Tyrone. Tyrone the one sent me. And then, so did you pay money? I said yes, I did pay money. And then okay, so okay, we will let you know. You stay around the boat when the people comes, when they're waiting for the something. So when the boat ready to go, so you can get in. And then that's how it said. When I on that time I was talking to the other little boy. He was the mechanic on the board. The people smuggler paid to him for the mechanic. He's a crew member. So then I was there, and that's how I get into the boat.
Wow. And your trip to Australia on the boat wasn't without a few problems, was it?
Yes, it's a big problem.
Would you like to just share a little bit about
yes, it is a very scary journey. I did mechanic for 4 years in Sri Lanka. After the mechanic repair, we trial on the ocean, but not a rough sea. I never been in a rough sea before. From the first harbour and to journey to Australia, the first day, since from the harbor, we was worry when we going to be catch the police, because we come illegally. We have no authority to remove came from there. So first thing there, when we was very worried. So always we going to maybe in 10 minutes police going to catch us. But then when the boat came to the start the journey, the first day is a nice and calm water. It's like a lake. But second day is a very rough sea. It's a waves come like this. So like this. When the boat go like this, and then when they go there, the thing, the tummy things come out. So that time, that time we thought first day, second day is very, very difficult. So always have to hide, tight something, hanging some people hanging like this, maybe tight like this. There's no space to sit. No, because it's on the boat, 73 people. It's 73 people is too much. So normally the fishermen take that boat to the fishing only 6 people. Yeah, for the beds only for 6 people. So but 73 mean is so much people, because the people is smuggler. They whenever who comes, they took money, whatever they can get it. So that's how after second die, third die, fourth die, sixth, seventh die, all die is the same die. So the people who is a crew members, the one of the chef was there. He can't control. He can't cook for the 72 people, because the cooking pots are only for 6, 7, 10 people to cook. So he is struggling. He cook one curry. It's only two things: rice and curry. There's nothing else. No vegetable, no meat. Just one. I think it's with my memory, because after second day, first day I eat from outside, not in the boat. The second day I didn't eat. I don't want to eat. And third day I don't want to eat. Fourth day I need to eat something. So then they cook only dal and rice only. They cooked one. First eat who is around the kitchen. The around people staying on the top of the deck, on the front of the boat, and behind the boat. So the first time cooked, eat only who was around the captain, So and then second cooked, there's some people like that. So myself, myself, I eat a little bit, and then after 30 minutes in the water, vomiting. So I couldn't eat it. I feel, my face is like this. After 1 week, it's a terrible. And so if I can go now home, I will go, because I'm sick of in the boat. After our journey was so many. After 10 days, I can see the people. Everyone is exotic and tired, and they have no word. In the first day, they're talking, like a parrot. Talking, and they decide when you go to Australia what they do, and then things like that. But the second, third day after that, they never ever talk anything about Australia or anything. They just talk. I can't see anything. It's just all around ocean, sky, water. There's nothing, anything. After I think it's 10 days, I can't remember. After 10 days, the on the front of the boat, there's a big water tank under the inside the boat. When the rough sea comes, the seawater, without knowing, seawater mix into the drinking water. Yeah, I think it's my memory is after 10 days. So the captain and the cook, they're saying so we can't cook because it's there's no there's a salt water. So we I think it's a 10 days. Yeah, they cooked a little bit. They said, if you like, eat. If you like it, if you can eat, but there's a salt. And then drinking water. The people had I think it's a lot of people. They bring the water bottles. So a little bit, the 250 ml water bottle, and then one of the person they announce, look, so we have a problem. We have no drinking water. If you have water in your bags, please go and grab and share with the others. There's a lot of people who got water. I have nothing here. I can't see after second day, I can't see my bag where am I. So I'm wearing second day, I wear my old suit got wet. I throw it because we're not allowed to put dry. You can't dry. So if my suit get wet and I can't put in it, I have to throw the water into there. I got the second day I wearing. I didn't know it's an old day. Every day is going to be like this. I change the clothes, and then I think after third day, I can't see my any other clothes that I think someone throw out, and I throw my first day which was I wearing. I throw out, and then I have no clothes until come to Cocos Island.
Can I just?
Yes.
I know at one stage on your journey over here, the boat stopped, didn't it?
Yes.
And you, being a boat mechanic,
yes,
came to the rescue.
Yes.
Would you like to share
yes,
a little bit about that?
Yeah, that's going to make me cry. After a few days, I can't remember how many days. After a few days, I think it's the way after 10 days when during they had a one. I was vomiting and I was lying like this always, and I can't keep my head straight. The skipper was screaming, so go that way and then come back there, because they stopped. They had a 2 engine in the boat because the boat is too big. They have 2 engines, and if the one engine is stopped, it's very difficult to control that boat when the rough sea comes. When the rough sea come like this, if the boat goes that way, when the sea come like that way, the boat have to turn, because it doesn't get damaged. If the waves hit this on the side of the boat is roll over. So the captain can't control the boat quickly turn without one engine. So he's the one. Other people doesn't get scared, but he's the one got very scared. He's screaming, "Go that way!" That he moved into other people, and then the mechanic, who was a little boy, which is I talking about 17 years. He was a poor boy. He didn't go to school. He just always go to the fishing, and then when the fisherman doing a few years working in the fishing, they know a little bit fixing the mechanic things. So he took the money from the smuggler to fix the boat as a mechanic. He said he's qualified. So he tried to fix the engine. He couldn't fix it, and then he was told to the people, call other guy to he know the mechanic. He said he can't fix it. It's a big look. He can't understand what has happened. To call. So then those people don't know. No one, any other people. Only one person me know. But all other people don't know who I am. And then while I'm sleeping and they wake up me, do you know the mechanic? I said yes. And then the engine was stopped. Can you go and have a look? So when I get down, the engine room is full of hot with a diesel. Smell diesel. I don't know. You get feeling. It's a poison to who's having seasick. There's a poison to who hasn't. Then when I go there, like this, I couldn't do in first minute, and then so I asked him what happened here. The boy was inside. What happened? And he said he don't know. That's one engine is stopped. It doesn't work. And then I look around, and then I found where the problem. And then quickly I asking to him tools, and then he gave me tools. The 2-3 people was helping, and then quickly I tied up. I told him tied up this one, and then I quickly went there. I vomited. So because I was it's a lot, couldn't wait anymore. So then again I went down. The grease and the oils on my hands and on the body or head everywhere. And then a second time I went there and I quickly fixed it. And then the boat running well. And then when the skipper is screaming all the time when the waves come, so they couldn't understand why they asking, all the people asking why like that. The people here, the one engine didn't stop. They don't know the one engine is working, one is not working. They knows only his engine didn't working. So then it's now again back to journey start again. Engine was going forward smoothly. Then people talking what happened. Then everybody talking about me. So that little boy is the fix the engine. The people said, thank you so much for helping. From the eldest to little ones. So everyone said thank you to me for fixing the engine. Some people said you look like an angel, God sent. The God sent you. And then they asking who sent you and how much you paid, how much. He said how much I paid, that much, and thank you for fixing me. So then I was a little bit, I feel better because I did help. I saved people's life. And then after my first fixing, and then I got a little bit good position on the board. Before I have no place to sit, no way to put a head on. Now everybody say, hey, move on. You go and sit there, please sit down. And I get a chance to put my head on. Then I thought I feel better. So I got a good position, and thanks God. And I said thank you God, and I got a little bit place to put my head on. So then after that, after another couple of days or something, so there's another another the skipper said the one engine is driving slowly, and I went there, and then there's one of the diesel filter is blocked, with fill of water, the water and the dust, and then I clean up, and then it's go. When I did work, I did help the boat on 2 times. The first one is a very scary one. We could be, if I couldn't fix it, so I think you be here on the news that 73 people was die on the ocean, was like that. Definitely 100% sure. So like that. But then I feel better. So some people said, so you save us. He's the one become leader, or during the journey. He's a little bit thugs in Sri Lanka. I didn't know. I knew that, but he said when we go to Australia, so we will help you because you save all our life, and that's how he said. So then I was happy. So I thought when I came to the Australia, so the people might be saying like this, the government might be, you are the hero, and then so you are the hero, and then so I might get a visa quickly.
But when you got to Australia, things didn't work out quite that way, did they?
Yes. Yes.
Are you comfortable to?
Yes. Yeah, when we got to Cocos Island after 15 days. We passed the Cocos Island, and then but the boat got damaged, the water coming in, and then we have to get into the Cocos Island. In the Cocos Island, the people when we came to the on the corner, the skipper, for some reason his skipper didn't get in. He could get into the land, but he didn't. For I don't know why he didn't get into the land. He just take the boat around the beach. The people say take it. That's a sand beach. You can take it to the water in there. No. He said for some reason he didn't took to the land, and then we saw this the couple of people surfing at the beach, and then they wave like this. That they took the shirt off, and then they wave like this, and then after half an hour or 1 hour, the police boat came, and they took us onto the land. There's a lot of processing. I make it shorter. And then when I came to here, the federal police came to the Cocos Island. They did interview everyone, all of them. There's a couple of people. They want to get who is the crew members. So also all of you now, if they any boat, they have a captain, mechanic, captain, and crew members. They did interview all the people, and some people say that that man is a captain, that man is a crew member, that man is a crew member, that man is a crew member. And a couple of people have told me about. So I did fix the boat. I did fix the boat. The federal police, they arrest me, and they said you are one of a crew member, and so then I have to face to they took me to the remand center. I was in 14 months. That's another terrible story over there, because when I was in Sri Lanka, I never talked to the policeman in face to face. I talked to the face-to-face priest and the religion people, but not the police. Even I never ever been in the police station. Even I took to get the character reference letter. You know that in here can apply reference letter online, but in Sri Lanka I have to go to the police station. But I never been there, never ever been there whole my life. But in here, I have to face everything by myself, but especially lack of my English. Yeah, so then I couldn't prove, I don't have evidence to prove myself because I paid, I didn't get a receipt. They don't, people smugglers, they don't give receipt. And also there's the captain. I told the captain, when the captain and the three crew members, the mechanic, little boy, and also the son of people smuggler, he was with us too. And then when they arrest, they all, I told them, why you not telling to the police, I'm not the crew member, I'm not the people smuggler, why you not telling me? And then said, if we said Rohan not people Rohan not crew member, then we are the crew members. So they said we can't say because the police saying, okay, Rohan not you are. Unfortunately, I think the federal police took me. They took, I think it's 5 correct people, and then one wrong person. The federal police want to me get against them, as a So then that's a good evidence for to make it strong their case. So one side, other people, they always, the captain and the son of people smuggler's son, he came to me, always came to my room and said, he threatened me. If you say anything against to us, we all together, we tell him to in the court. So you took money, that much money from my dad. So I saw this man going to say, so I saw my dad, the smuggler pay money in front of me. So they all together, they talk, and they what is it calling? They blackmail me. And then people smuggler said, people smuggler threatened me. I got 3 sisters back in Sri Lanka and 1 son. And he threatened me, you don't know how much I can do back in Sri Lanka. If you say anything on the court case against to us, I will rape I put people to rape your sisters. So, and that's how all the way I was in 18 months. I think 18 months was in prison. Always they did like that. So I was one. I didn't have friends. So they all together eating, talking, joking. But I did only myself. So then I questioned my God too. So why this happened to me? I was helping. So because you giving me talent, and I used to save people. So then why it happened? But the God's plan is different. Very hard to understand. So then now I know the God's plan.
It's quite a story, isn't it? Eventually you ended up in Baxter.
Yes.
And with another, I think there were about 12, 14 Sri
yes.
Lanka was about
Yes,
that?
we came 73 people, and the half of them, I think only 12 left in Baxter Detention Center. And then so a lot of people have been deported by post. By post, and then there's a few people, they signed it and they went back because So we in here in Baxter, we don't know when we're going to get visa. In the first place, the government who was deported in the first, I think 3 months ago. No, after 3 months we came, and they went to the Italy. And when we in Baxter, they already who came with us in the first place, and they went back to Sri Lanka, and then they went back to Italy and other countries, and then so during we are in Baxter, so they already got a visa over there. They came back to Sri Lanka to get their family back to there. So we still in the detention center, and then after that, so it's only left 12 people, and 12 people, and then only 9 people from the 73, only 9 people got visa.
It was in Baxter that we connected with Rohan and the other Sri Lankans, wasn't it, Krista? Yeah. And so how long were you in Baxter?
I think I was in Baxter 2 years or something, because I was in Perth first.
Yeah.
And then I applied I want to come to South Australia. I don't know how look like South Australia, but I applied to there, and applied to Baxter, and then no, I applied to Port Edland. The Port Edland they planning to close, so then they closed the Port Edland, and then the old people came to the Baxter. So I was in 2 years in Baxter.
And then from Baxter, you came to Adelaide, and you lived for a period of time in Eden Hills, didn't you?
Yes.
And it must have been enormous. You had to learn a new language.
Yes.
English.
Yes.
I have to say your English is much better than my Sinhalese, which is non-existent. You had to learn how to manage public transport, how to learn about banking, about, how to, everything basically, and look for work.
Yes.
I think we probably have to fast forward a little bit here, but can I say that Rohan now is married, has a beautiful wife, 3 beautiful girls and a very handsome son, and he has his own business, and you even you have find work for people from Sri Lanka when they come here. A huge difference from when you left to you're a different person. And would you just we're nearly out of time, but would you just like to say a few words of where you are now and how you feel about this whole journey?
So now I got a business. It's a cleaning company. It's a small company. There's all subcontractors. There are 15 subcontractors working with me now. So it's a lot of people on the waiting list too, because so in the Sri Lankan community, my phone number is going around always. So at least 2-3 new people, they're calling me to have get the job. I got a lot of big waiting list. The business is going good.
I think we probably need to finish there, but there will be an opportunity a little bit later to ask some questions, or for you to ask some questions. But I think
actually it's probably better to ask the questions now.
Oh, if that's okay.
Yeah, we have to do it quickly though.
Okay. So if anyone, Bruce up the back there.
What is your legal status now?
I'm proud to say I'm an Australian citizen.
I remember we went down to Mitcham council
Yes, yes.
to see Rohan become an Australian citizen, and that was the proudest day, not only for Rohan, for so many of us who have grown to love you over these years. Yeah. Is there anything else someone would like to ask?
My question was very quickly, when you chose to go to Australia, that's where the boat was going, did you know anything about the potential illegalities or whatever at that time, or was it just, this is a country, I'm going to go there?
No, actually, I didn't plan to come to Australia. I just want to leave from Sri Lanka. Wherever that, if that boat is turned into America, I go America.
Okay.
You know. So, and also I didn't know all I know. The government give visa. You know, the Italy, especially people who go to the Italy, they're going on the boat. So Italy give a temporary visa, and then they put onto the community. So they work and earn, and then that's only that idea. I didn't know anything. I have to wait 2-3 years. I might go to jail. You know, I have no idea. Even I have no idea how people look like in Australia.
You've come a long way.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Rohan.
Thank you.
And after Barb had finished as coordinator of Circle of Friends, Tricia Rushton took over as coordinator. And that was just the start, really, of quite a journey for you, wasn't it, Tricia?
The journey started with a mother, of course, who always said that's not wrong, and lobbied ministers so much that they rang up her home, her little pensioner unit, and said, "Blewett here, what can I do for you?" And she told him how to fix Medicare for pensioners. And that had been a long line of, you might not know me, but... But this journey into thinking about refugees and working in the work that I do now began with Lenona inviting me 12 or 13 years ago and my Sophie to go to Inverbrackie and help with the children's program, and that made me interested. And I had a background as a senior executive in government and various other things, and I was bored. And I was in my late 50s, I think, then. And anyway... I got interested in that and worked with refugees in the community, as you heard. And then I got very bored being a consultant. It is very boring telling people the same thing all the time and going, ha ha. And so I then started a law degree at Flinders and thought, I wonder if I'll be able to do this. I applied for midwifery in law. Everyone laughed when I said midwifery because that's not me. And I got into law, and apparently I was quite good at it and won a scholarship to do a PhD as well. So in 2019 I became a lawyer, and through my networking within the law sector, I met a man called Besmela Rezai, who arrived at 16. Some of you have met his brother, who I sent to talk to some people who might have been here at a dinner, the lovely Shawali, who escaped with his family over the Khyber Pass to Pakistan in the same way, for the same sort of reasons, because of the terrible, terrible persecution of Hazaras. And I've been working for him ever since 2019 while I did my PhD. And now I'm about to have a book published with Rutledge, and I'm liaising with England, which is extremely exciting, and I still could be like saying it, about my thesis, which was basically what the Liberal government from Philip Ruddock and John Howard until this current era, 2020 was my date, what they said and how they justified migration law. So I'll give Lenona a copy when I'm going to mention ministers' names tonight because it is ministers who have the absolute power. If you weren't a citizen, you are at the minister's discretion, ultimately. And so the rule of law for anybody who isn't a non-citizen isn't what's written in books, really. Really. It's what the minister wants. As we saw when Peter Dutton allowed somebody's nanny to come in when people like you were rotting in Nauru or whatever. it's up to him. The minister could have let you out of immigration detention any time he liked under, I think it's section 198, but they didn't. Okay, so that gets me pretty riled up. So I work as a lawyer with, 12 years ago, yep. I only have a few minutes, and I will ask Lenona not to be polite to me, just to say, shut up, Tricia, that's enough. But I wanted to know what you wanted to know, and you told me some things. Tell me when I've reached my limit. You told me some things which, because we're because of where we are and where I always am, the pens never work, so you probably can't read it. But this is what you told me as I did a wander around, and this is what Lenona also told me. So I wanted to know what was the one thing you wanted to know tonight about migration law. These are some of the things you asked, and here are my answers, okay? And then I'll ask you if there's anything else. First of all, what's new? What's new lately? Right. There's been 2 decisions of the High Court. One of them was absolutely, it got us so excited in the law area on this, which was to overthrow the idea or the law that keeping people in immigration detention for the purpose of trying to place them somewhere else because they could not be in Australia was legal. So long as they were in immigration detention for the purpose of placing them, there was no limit on how long they could stay there. That wasn't written on a tablet from God, all right? That isn't international law. That was just what had always been since 1901, when the first Parliament met, and in the very first meeting of Parliament in Melbourne in 1901, the hot issues in the discussions, which I've had the joy of reading Hansard from almost then to now. I read a lot of those parliamentary reports. The hot issues were trade. Will we be a protectionist country or a free trade country? And the other hot issues with how we keep out black people. And not just black people, slightly coloured people, slightly Italians. In fact, anybody but, I quote, pure British stock. That was the biggest deal that was on the menu. So what we've always done, and there was a case called Rob Telms and someone else in about 1905 or 6, which decided then that you could take people off the street and say, you look like, they used to call them Kanakas in Queensland. You'd been smuggled here and treated as a slave. You look like one. Have you got a job? I can't see you having a job. You're walking on the street. Right, out. And we didn't have to take them home. There was a long, boring conversation about that, but we just plonked them somewhere. And since then, basically, that's what we've done. And we think we've introduced immigration detention, but we introduced immigration detention because before we used to put them in jail. And Minister Downer in 1958 said, I think we shouldn't really put these people, these migrants who shouldn't be here, who we don't want, we shouldn't put them in jail because they've only committed a statutory offence. It's not really a crime to be here. It's not really illegal. Someone asked me that question, right? But we want to get rid of them. So we'll put them in this new thing called immigration detention. That's when it started. So we've always been doing this. It's not new. So what the High Court said was that you couldn't keep people in detention if there was nowhere you could send them back anywhere. The reason we can't send them back is that we've used our much flaunted sovereignty to sign international law which says we won't refoul people, which means we won't send back genuine people that we've found to be refugees according to the Covenant, and that's now been thrown out of our law by Scott Morrison and rewritten as our own law, which was an interesting thing to do that we let through the Parliament. If they're really refugees, then we can't send them back to a country where they'd be persecuted because we're too good for that. So we'll just keep them in immigration detention because we're still looking for a country. You could be looking for 20 years, and up till now, when we've got rid of Kiefel as the head of the High Court, and we've got, can't remember his name, starts with S, we've got him as the head of the High Court. Suddenly the High Court changed its mind that it actually wasn't, if they couldn't be sent home in a reasonable time, we were actually keeping them there for the purpose of punishment, which you can't do in administrative law. So that's why all those people were released from detention, because the purpose of administrative law can never be punishment. And the High Court said if you keep a genuine refugee, someone who's been found to be a refugee and can't be sent back to their country, you cannot keep them in detention. So then everybody ran around like wild chooks, and they've got things on their legs and they've got all of this. And we see that picture the other day of that woman. You also that picture of that woman with a terrible bruised face. One woman, one refugee released from immigration detention, a great big bruised face. 4 women died one woman died every 4 days this year. Where's their pictures? Where's the big hullabaloo? Where's Minister, Leader of the Opposition Dutton going on about that? Nah. He wants Aboriginal people to stop raping their children. Thank you, Peter, for that. And he wants migrants not to be here because they're taking everything and they're beating up old ladies. Why was that picture in the press? Is that really a big issue? No, it isn't. And one of the reasons, these people that are let out of immigration detention, their crimes are not all extreme crimes. But one thing that most of them haven't had is the benefit of parole. And I know this because I've got one in jail at the moment, and I've been explaining things and explaining the change of law to him and telling him it probably won't help him. And I've got another one who I went to the AAT for and fought a very losing battle for this man who didn't help himself, and he's still in immigration detention because he never got the chance to do parole. Parole has a purpose. When an Australian citizen, when you commit a crime, you beat up your husband or your wife, or you do something and you get put in jail for 12 months, you might say at 9 months, can I go out now? Can I go on parole? And you'll be gradually reintroduced to the community and tested to see whether you're dangerous or not, whether you can control yourself. The people that in this situation, as they're about to be released from prison, they have their visa cancelled. And then Section 180, I think it is, comes into play. So they immediately go to immigration detention. They don't have to. The minister could have decided at any point along there that they could be placed in the community under community supervision. And there might be some of those. We don't know. All right. But these ones in detention have been talked about by Dutton. I can give you the quotes, buy my book. Right. They've been talked about, they've increasingly talked about as criminals. When they're no more criminals than somebody who's sitting in this room who hasn't revealed their criminal record. And they're in jail, the ones that I deal with are very often in jail because of a domestic violence offence. Because they came from one culture, they had a journey, and nearly all of mine are Afghan refugees, from Hazara refugees. They come plopped into another country. They have ideas about family, they have ideas about women, shared by many citizens, but right? Their wives, for the first time in their lives, have a status they didn't have before. They often lack family support. They have new community, but they have support, some support. They have never had money before, the wives. Suddenly the wives get Centrelink money. I'm passing what I hear from community workers. The men have nothing. Everything's changing. There's a huge amount of stress. Some of them are working 7 days a week to support growing families. And then the wife is told by somebody, you don't have to if he hit you, you don't have to put up with it. No, she doesn't. And somebody arrives at this guy's house, arrests him, takes him to jail. She has an intervention order against him, and he has to get legal aid or me or someone to try and work all through that. And if he's convicted of any of these assault charges or he doesn't know what to do, he can end up in immigration detention. Sometimes I want to stand back with my clients and say, please stop, everyone just stop. Could we just talk to this whole family and see what's going on here? So that's why they're let out. The reason the department under this new government carried on with all those things is purely political in my view, because already Dutton is making immigration such a big deal, and it's been such a winner with the Australian people. They love a bit of hating of the migrant, and they have for a really long time. Next thing, number one, you just keep me going, Leno, just blow the whistle, right? Right? The next High Court case was when an Iranian man lost. So that one was won. The next one was lost. Why was it lost? It was lost because he was refusing. We weren't keeping him in immigration detention. He had committed serious crimes, from what I've read, but he was refusing to cooperate with the Iranian authorities and go back to Iran. Iran is, I've been warned not to go to Iran myself, right? But I would love to go to Iran. Lots and lots of people I know go to Iran for holidays, and there are ways to live in Iran without getting into a big mess. There's no way to live in Taliban Afghanistan at the moment. A few ways to live in Pakistan, but Iran, we're not at war with Iran, and people can have asylum seeker claims from Iran, and some of them get visas. But this man did not bring up any of the issues that he's now talking about when he went through the process of having his refugee status tested. Okay? I don't know whether... Can I just, as an aside to that, when you apply for, and we have this all the time, you apply to be a refugee, you get turned down because a delegate, means a public servant in the department, assessed you and said no, and they also assess you against something called complementary assistance, complementary claims rather, which is for some other reason it would be too dangerous for you to go back that doesn't fit into asylum seeker claims. Okay, so they assess it, they say no. The next step, if you came in a certain period, it is reviewed. It's called the IAA, but there's some kind of a review, all right? And then after that, you have nowhere to go except if there's a legal error. Not if you've got another claim, but if there's a legal error, you can apply for a judicial review, which only looks at whether the delegates had the power to make a decision or whether they ignored something. There's a whole lot of rules around that. Very difficult to win. All right? Very difficult to win. You lose all of that. The last thing you can do, and I've written a million of these, is a request for ministerial intervention, where you write to the minister and say, here's the man, or woman, mostly men, here's the man, here's the story, these are the reasons you cannot send him back to this country now, this is that, blah, 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 and you wait. These things take years and years. And someone asked me why people can or can't work. It depends on the bridging visa you're given. If you've ever been without a substantive visa or a bridging visa, you're unlikely to get work rights. It sounds detailed. It sounds like you'd need a lawyer. It sounds like you'd need a dedicated lawyer to ask the right questions. A lot of people don't have any of that. A lot of people have dodgy. I don't think I'm supposed to say that, but anyway.
Tricia, it must be very difficult for a person to prove that it's dangerous for them to go back to the country.
Oh, they don't have to prove it. We prove it. We've got millions of resources about what's going on in other countries. We've got things, I usually quote what DFAT are saying, what they've got posted on their website about countries and about the law and about various things. And yeah, it's that's why they pay us, okay? And for people to do it themselves, they have to be extreme cases. Okay, so that's what's happening now. And quickly in the budget, the Iranian man, he refused to leave. So the purpose of his detention is still valid, all right? Because it's in his hands. There's what the government is now doing, and I haven't read the bill, but I know about it, right? What the government is now doing is trying to look at countries of high risk, which means countries that refuse to take somebody back if they've sought asylum unless that person agrees to be returned, which has got all sorts of pain and all sorts of rubbish, and I think it's a mistake, but I haven't looked into it, and it's gone to committee, and I suggest it might just die quietly. We'll see. Okay, you with me? Still awake? Right. The budget. The budget has, I've checked the papers, $20,000 humanitarian places. Under the Liberals, it was between 15 and 18. When Malcolm Turnbull got in, he raised it to 18, which was astonishing. The whole, right? So there's humanitarian places which we offer through UNCR, that many places. Sometimes they're taken up by people who arrive on boat or whatever. And students, the budget was big on students. They're cutting student places. I've written about this from 2000 to now, or almost to now. Students have always been an issue. Students, the university sector is an export sector, and it moves up and down. When I was writing, it was the third largest export industry, right? Above agriculture, right? It's a very big deal, expensive. But as soon as the COVID hit, Morrison wanted to keep the agricultural workers. It took me back to 1901, 1910. They wanted to keep the Pacific Island labourers, what they called Kanakas, which is a very foul word, right? They wanted to keep them, but they didn't want Japanese here because they actually said, we don't want educated ones of the wrong kind, right? It's never gone away. So Morrison wanted to keep the agricultural workers, and he gave them special visas, and he told the students to go home. And it took a year, I think, before the students got any support, even though I think I said the third largest then. Somebody said the other day the second largest, so it might have changed, right? So what was going on there? Anyway, so the students, and now they're saying the university should invest more in housing because housing is the big issue. That's all politics. I think that's those things. The humanitarian number is a good number compared to what we've done before. Kinds of visas. Somebody asked me, there's substantive visas. This is a very short. Substantive visas like a parenting, a partner visa, or a humanitarian visa, or a skilled worker visa, or a wonderful human being visa, right? They're all listed on the department's site, and there's millions of different little clicks and turns around them. And there's bridging visas. So when you were in remand, Rahan, is that right? When you were in remand, the reason you weren't convicted of anything, were you? You weren't convicted of a crime? Yeah. You were held in remand. The reason you were held in remand is that you had nowhere to go. Like a lot of Aboriginal kids. If there's nowhere that you can go home, they keep you in remand. So that's why you suffered that long time, because there was nowhere for you to go. If any of you had known and said, and ask for him to be released into your care or your responsibility, you could have done that. You can, right? That was from, I don't know your case, but that was right. Right. So, so bridging visas are visas you get that make you allowed to stay in Australia, but they're not a real visa. They're just a waiting visa. They're bridging you from illegality, and that's a made-up word by Australian politicians over many years, to legality. And they have certain conditions. And we have found it's easier to get a bridging visa with work rights in Adelaide than it is in Melbourne, I think. And it's very much at the discretion of the delegate. And a lot of these things are very, very difficult to appeal. But that's what, yes. Yeah, okay. I've got no idea what visas they're on. They're probably on temporary visitor visas. A lot of people come, when we worry about people coming on boats, and there's very special rules and dates, and Scott Morrison did an amazing double turn with Twist in Parliament, trying to say why it was fair. He said it's fair because we make the rules. And so with this date, there'll be these rules. And in that date, it'll be those rules. And that's fair because that's the rules. Honestly, it was mind-boggling. Mind-boggling. So they're on some kind of... They'd usually be on a tourist visa or a temporary visa or some kind of invented visa. There's a huge number of visas, all right? And then... whether they can stay permanently or not, they'd have to be looking for a permanent visa to apply for. Some temporary visas is a pathway to permanency, others aren't. All right? And remember, Australia is seen as a middle power now. We have a small population that's extremely rich per capita. And the myth that we were a generous country on refugees is absolutely a myth. Pakistan takes many more refugees than us. And the number of refugees that we know about is a tiny percentage of the world's 140 million or whatever that are fleeing poverty, are fleeing war and conflict, and fleeing to the global north or to Australia, all seen as the political West. And if you go back, my thesis looked at the influence of globalisation. You see that they're fleeing from places where colonialism disrupted things and then moved on. So the responsibility that we have for what is going on in the world can't be underestimated. So yes, that's the Gaza visas as far as I know. I'm sorry, I don't know any more about that. The whole idea of whether you're illegal or not, a really amazing goddess of a woman who works at Uni of New South Wales. I cannot think of her name. She just writes all the time, and I read what she writes. But she's written a whole book called Why Refugees Are Not Illegal, and just sets it right. It's just political rubbish. It's justification out of nothing, because we used right up until after 1958, when Minister Downer said, "Oh, we were not changing the policy, the White Australia policy, which we never wrote down, because we ducked and weaved, because the Empire was very worried about the India and what India would say, and very worried about what Japan would say if we said the colour word. So we ducked and weaved. We've never written it down. But he said, we're not making any policy changes, and people made speeches about how we don't want any coloured people and all this dreadful stuff. It makes you blush, right? But and he said, but instead of the education test, we'll just have our officers, honestly, in Parliament, we'll have our officers go onto the boat that arrives, because that's how people arrived. It was very manageable then, not like at airports and things. Go onto the boat that arrives, bring these people, and we'll look around, and if they see somebody we don't think is right, we'll just go up to them quietly and not embarrass them and tell them they can't come on shore. That was his new policy. I know. And it wasn't until Al Grasby said, you know, White Australia's finished, that he actually said it wasn't an official policy. But then the only official policy was sovereignty, which means because we have the power to do it, we can do it, so therefore we're doing it, so that's okay. We had no policy. We have no policy. We have no rationale, except we don't want it. Okay, illegal, right, humane. How am I going? You tell me when you're sick of it, or just get up and go home.
If you can close off maybe with that.
Okay.
And then I'll finish off.
Oh, absolutely. Humane. Some people have asked me about you've talked about time, and if I can just finish off with this, and you can have one of those sticks and just pull me off, you know. There's a lot of things you don't know about, and you don't know about what and Minister Giles has tried to do. Peter Dutton had power, or Ruddock gave him this power, but we haven't got time for that. Right. So there's ministerial directions. They began in 1998. They used to be just general stuff the minister could say. Now they're legal directions. So when you're working in the public service and you have to make a decision, you have to read the ministerial direction. And that's like what you have to do. So when you make a decision, you have to follow those points. So it's not really a delegate. And that was invented. It wasn't there before 98, all right? And Peter Dutton introduced Direction 80, and he said anyone at all, anyone who's come on a boat, like, you know, an illegal, has to have their application to bring their family put at the bottom of the priority pile. Can you imagine? People don't come. Everyone that I've met came to save their family. And he made that up, okay? I think it was about 2017, 2018, just made it up. And so people that thought, you know, were on the waiting list and applied, they're waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting. And it wasn't then until, what Peter Dutton also said was he changed the rules that when you apply, your children have to be under 18 or under when you apply, which was fine. You know, Ahmad applies, his eldest daughter's 15, that's fine, got 3 years, fine. Or under 23, if they can be shown to be dependent because they're students and not working, all right? So here you are, you've been working for years just to have the money to apply for a partner visa because it costs thousands. And then you're waiting and working and trying to make sure there's a home and getting ready, and you start to get mentally ill because you're so stressed, and you're sending heaps of money to support all these people because they don't know how long they're waiting, so the women don't get married, they don't commit to anything, they're waiting, they're all waiting. And then when they get assessed, she's now 26. She's now 27. I have cried like a baby at work about this. We have ducked and weaved, and we've got them here. Just 3 of them so far from me that I've done, and it's the most thrilling experience. And one woman was left in Afghanistan, in Kabul, with a house stocked with food, and the people next door were going to look after her because she was 26 and we couldn't get her here. And her mother was crying on the phone, her mother and sons and others had come, right? She's in Queensland, the father's talking to me, the mother's weeping on the phone saying, I held her, she didn't want us to go, but my husband said to go, it was our only chance, I had to bring the other children, and she's there. This is Peter Dutton who did that. No one else. Peter Dutton. He wrote it. You don't even know about it because it's all this stuff being done under the line in directions, which Philip Ruddock let them do, and it gave them the power through Section 499. So she's now in Australia. But we had to get mental health things. We had to go on and on about that. So what Giles has done is reverse Direction 80. That's just one of the good things he's done. He's done a resolution of status for a whole range of refugees who now get it. And there's a lot of crying in our office. And I will finish on that note. But if you want to change anything, somebody was saying, what should we get the government about? For goodness sake, tell people to vote Green or Labor.
Thank you very much, Trish. Listen, we quite obviously have gone way past our bedtime, but it sort of shows how necessary tonight was to hear those two different voices. I was going to get us all to wander into the sanctuary just to spend 10 minutes to dwell on it. I'm not going to do that. You'll have to go home and spend time dwelling on what you've heard tonight. I'm going to write to Tricia. I hope she doesn't mind me saying this. You don't even know I'm going to ask you what to say. But maybe, Trish, if you could give us 3 pointers that we've already got one, vote Green or Labor. But 3 pointers we can think about, things that you think we as individuals can do in this next 12 months. Asylum has been on the back burner, sort of, and maybe we need to raise the awareness somehow or other. So 3 things, and obviously I don't know all your emails. I know some. I'll try to get it to as many as we can. If you're here and you don't know me, and then I don't know you, so perhaps give me an email afterwards. So that we can go from here having been challenged about what's happening. Karis.
I have the wonderful privilege and honour of being asked to thank these 2 marvellous people. Rohan, I've known you for so many years. You were my cleaner in my kindergarten, and I was so thrilled that my committee allowed you to come as a cleaner. I had no idea whether you could clean or not, but I knew that you needed work. So you came, and I think your cleaning was fantastic then, and I'm sure it is now. Thank you for your terribly horrific journey that you made here, and thank you for reliving it, because I know every word you said was painful. And you don't want to relive these things. But we needed to hear it, and I do thank you sincerely for putting yourself through it. And I love your family, as you know, and I'm very happy that I've learned to know you. Thank you again. And Tricia, what can I say about you? I've known you a long time too. You've been an inspiration to so many to take on a law degree when you're already a grandmother and looking after your wonderful granddaughter, and you have just really raised our awareness right from the time you became a coordinator. I think the whole group changed. We became politically motivated, and we hadn't been before. We were just nice people trying to help poor people. But then we found out what the real world was like through you. And now we're hearing it again, and it's not a nice hearing, but we needed to hear that too. And I can't believe how clever you've been to take on a law degree when you were nearly at retirement age. And that was fantastic. And I think, well, who could do it? Nobody but Trish. Here we go. Thank you. Thank you very, very much.
Now, I have to tell them this. There's a lot of things that I can't do, and Karis can do a lot of amazing, wonderful things. And once when I was more involved in the group, I thought I should make cakes, and that was a bad thought. But I made these cakes, and Karis, I took them up and I gave them to her, and she said, oh, thank you. And then I never saw them again. They didn't appear anywhere. They were popped somewhere, and I nearly wet myself laughing.
I can assure you they were eaten.
And it's, I am completely at the Lenona is to blame for me, and I have more fun. 73-year-old is as happy as me.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thanks for coming. Well, Nancy? Rohan, what year did you leave? 2001. Yep. Yep. Okay. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for coming. There's still another journeying series to go in 2 months' time. Keep your eyes out for that.